You won't have to be in this basket for too long. So don't cry because of the smell, okay, Moses? Just remember that God will protect you. And that Mommy always loved you.
My mom whispered as she gazed at me with her eyes quickly filling with tears. I laid in the basket for the next 3 hours, crying for my mom to come back and worried about what was to happen next. When the basket finally opened, I gazed at one of the most decorated faces I have ever seen. And now, laying down here on top of Mount Nebo, about 118 years later, I reflect on the many times God provided various means of protection for me. That simple basket ride was the first major time God protected me. But my life clearly shows that it was not the last. Meeting God while leading his people has helped me to realize that he's never left my side. If I ever needed strength to deal with anything, all I had to do was call on him. As I prepared for my final moments, I found myself wishing I had learned this lesson sooner. I can see how, even though it was my rash decision and bad temper that caused me to kill the Egyptian, God used this situation to place me into the wilderness. Why the wilderness? Well, he saved me from getting into the comfortable rut of living aimlessly in the palace and never caring about the plans he ordained for my life. While in the wilderness, God taught me how to lead his people, not as the Egyptians did with force and threats, but as a shepherd who leads his sheep with kindness, love, and understanding. Looking back at how I lived, I can see my faults. I see my anger issues, how I was disobedient to God, the various ways I dishonored him, and how I doubted his ways every time I did not agree with his plan. Shaking my head in shame, I reflect on my life in total amazement of how God loved and used me in spite of my faults and my many mistakes and my numerous accounts of sin. And now, as I lay here in total awe by what the Lord has just revealed to me about the final days of earth and his second coming, I can see why God decided to allow me to sleep until he returns. After viewing the history of my life, I understand. I understand this is God's way of saving me from myself. With my bad temper and my uncontrollable anger, there's no telling if I would have made it into heaven. As I look over the precipice of the mountain into the distance, I see the promised land of Canaan. I know that God's heavenly home will be sweeter. I can feel my lids getting heavy and the tempo of my heart slowing to a tranquil pace. I will sing to Yahweh. The beautiful song Marian sang as we crossed the Red Sea. I fall asleep with praises to my God on my lips, thanking him for putting me to sleep before this world became my comfortable rut. I will